like Facebook, we're live.
All right, that's right. We are here for our Veto reaction episode here for a special Tuesday episode of Big Brother, talking about all things Davon and winning her very first competition in 3 seasons. She said it tonight. I'm here with my big brother, Dave Mader, over here in the command center, and we have co-host Jaemeel Robinson over in Pop Funko World.
Coming to you from all the different worlds.
Coming to you from all the different worlds here to talk about Big Brother. Why can't I get my way, Jaemeel? I just need things to go my way, and when they, it's just not fair.
We have a plan, and we're supposed to stick to it. And she's going against the plan. I know the plan doesn't include her and the other people, but it's not fair at all.
Why is that even my ally? Why?
I think it
was yours.
Yeah, so I think it might have been my favorite thing tonight, just watching Nicole out in the backyard stewing about how things weren't going to go her way this week. And Dave, what were your initial thoughts on just everything that happened with the fact that Danny is coming after Ian and Nicole doesn't like it?
Well, I just want to come out saying I immensely enjoyed this episode. I am very happy about these particular turn of events. You know, wherever this may go, at least it feels like it's the start of potentially something against this committee alliance and taking them down from their power. And this week did not go their way. And Danny is now not a very popular member of that committee. Christmas will see to that now, because Christmas is all about the team. So there are cracks definitely as a result. She's nominated 4 people, 2 of which have come off. Davon, David, Kevin. You know, if these people could get together, you know, they might actually have some kind of a minority alliance that could maybe challenge their dominance in this game. We'll see. But you know, just in terms of how tonight went, I'm happy. This was not predictable. So, yeah.
It was finally what this season needed, and the powers, the initial thing that started the whole ball rolling here was David using the disruptor power. And for some reason, trying to sell to everybody who used this. You know,
wait, it was David. That makes no sense.
No,
David's asking everyone who.
Those were real tears.
I thought
they were real tears.
I thought it was Christmas that used the disruptor power.
Oh, Chris, yeah.
It seems like something Christmas would do.
Wait,
Dave.
Dave.
Yes.
Did you take David off the block?
Come on, man.
No,
come on. What are you talking about?
Jeff, was it you?
No, man. Why would I do that? I put myself on the block, man.
It was hilarious. It was just hilarious how this all played out. He never clued in. He's selling it to the DR that he was this great mastermind. I came up with this plan. No one will know I used the disruptor power. He says it to Davon and to Kevin, who, you know, like they're like, why would we use it? And then he goes to Tyler, you know, did you use it? He goes, why would I use it?
Yeah, you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out that nobody had any interest in saving David. It really made no sense for anybody to save David other than Kevin, and Kevin was on the block already. So, you know, really, he'd be the only person who would do it to save David, and that would be really dumb if he didn't save himself first. So everybody else obviously wanted David out this week. So I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I really don't.
What is he doing? Is the exact question.
Here's the only thing that goes towards his plan, and that would be, guys, seriously. Do you think I'm smart enough to take myself off the block by using my powers properly? Come on, guys. Let's look at a track record. And they're like, man, maybe you are right. Maybe. And that's the only way that would make sense.
I mean, he you know what he should do is just play up like he's in the alliance and he's like trying to do whatever to help the alliance. And then I think people like Christmas would buy it. He's a real good team player. Yeah. You know, stuff like, you know, I think that might work. You know, but I don't think he's.
He would have to know who's in the alliance first.
Yeah, but
everyone's in the alliance.
Everyone, but yeah, he just served.
Everyone but him and Kevin are in the alliance, and Davon now, especially Davon now. What do you guys think of the whole tiny beer can stacking challenge tonight? Dave,
Okay, Dave.
no, we'll go over to Dave first.
Well, Jeff. As you know, I have a fine motor skill deficiency.
Right.
So this kind of delicate fine work with this is my hell. This was like gave me nightmares. I may never recover. So I thought it was quite difficult what they're having to do, quite nerve wracking. In fact, to watch, it was like, I thought it was quite fun with Cody and everybody else who wasn't in the competition. Just sort of Nicole watching it happen, and that felt like a real reaction. So it was kind of like watching it with them really in real time. But I thought that the silly thing is that they committed to this miniature veto winner like thing, like the little thing. They committed to that for the whole episode, right up until the end, even with the final ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
It never. Yeah. So does this, and Davon was like, well, this is my first veto, and it counts. I was like, well, yeah, but I feel like there's an asterisk next to your veto win now. So
she has to win 4 more to make one real.
Perhaps it felt like this is kind of like when you win the like a shortened season after a lockout or something. I don't know if it was the same as a real deal. Jeff, your thoughts?
I think it was a real deal win. It's just for whatever reason, Big Brother wanted to stick with the motif because I didn't really understand. Like they shoot the gun, right, to suck them into the mini world, right?
Yes.
And then so everything's miniaturized, right? Like, which makes sense. Even like the players are supposed to be kind of miniaturized compared to the beer cans, and the veto is miniaturized. But once they get sucked back out, shouldn't everything be regular size again? Like,
no, better question for you, Jeff, is if they're already miniaturized, then what's up with these even more miniaturized little cans and houses? Like, why is there a miniaturized can inside of already miniaturized with people, right? With miniaturized tweezers.
It's a good question. It's the physics of this challenge are confusing to say the least. Jaemeel, over to you. What's your take on the miniaturized veto?
I honestly think that it was a merchandising type of situation because now you can sell little veto, earrings. You can just put on the ears.
Yes.
Beer can earrings, perhaps.
Beer can necklaces. They have like the little wrist guard, and so instead of like names as your favorite beers on it, like they're taking it to the 21st century, right? That's what you do, miniaturized everything.
I thought what she should have done was just take the Africa pendant off of her necklace and just replace it with the veto, and then that's what she should have done, and just worn that around her neck, because then she still would have had it around her neck. It would have been. I thought that would have been cool. That's what I thought she should have done.
Or literally put it with replace it with one of your earrings.
There's one person that played this challenge tonight that was never ever going to win it, and that was Meow Meow. Enzo. He was never going to win this challenge. And he was going, oh, yo, I just want to save my boy Tyler, even though Cody's my boy too, and Memphis is my boy. They're all my boys, and I don't want any of my boys to go. And he's just going on about his boys all the time, and it's just like the whole moment too, where like Danny had to replace David with Tyler on the block, and she had to do it in real time, was joyous to watch. Her entire alliance's faces, especially Enzo, react to her putting Tyler on the block when she and Christmas, obviously, when she could have put up Ian right there, or she could have put up Enzo right there. The problem with this season is that there are too many adjacent alliances going on, and somebody's going to be mad when somebody gets replaced, other than if it's David, Kevin, or Davon. Which Davon, I'm so happy that she figured out that this makes no sense for her to not use the veto. Like, she probably shouldn't have promised that she wasn't going to use it. Like, that was probably a stupid thing for her to have said.
But chances are she was never going to win. So she's like, chances are I can make that promise and never have to cash that.
Yeah, why even have a tough conversation at that point?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's never won it before, ever. So if she says you won't use it, right? You go, yeah. But so she goes, yeah, I might. Then it's going to be like a conflict. And then she might potentially renom her or backdoor her for some reason, because she thinks she can't trust her anymore. So Davon has to almost say that. And then, but Davon, Davon, okay, like was this smart? Like I think I'm happy. I think we're probably happy that at least maybe not Ian's on the block, but the fact that this game is shaken up a bit here, and that the committee's not getting what they want at least for 1 week, in some manner here. Even if Ian goes and it's going to piss off Franzel, which at least we can take some solace in that.
Right.
But in terms of like just how this is all playing out with their alliance and everything else.
I think the person that needed the wake up call in as far was Franzel, because Franzel is the one player other than Cody that will do anything at all costs to get what they want, or they will kick and scream and whine as much as possible to get what they want. And we saw tonight Cody was like losing his mind when Danny told him that Devon was going to use the veto. He was like, "What? Why? That's impossible." It's what do you mean?
Why would they do that?
Why would you do that? Because that's not good for her. It's like, yeah, it is really good for her. It makes no sense for her to not use it. What are you talking about? Like, like she's not in an alliance with you guys. It's clear you put her on the block. Like, what is it? 2 times or is it only 1? So I think it's only the 1 time with Bailey. But like, that was the telltale sign that they're not with you, Devon. Go out there. You have to win something. Once you win something, that was really what was going to change things. Something like that's what we kept saying every week. We've been coming on here saying someone in that other side of the house of the Kevin Devons and the Davids of the world had to win one of these competitions, and even if that disruptor power had not been there, they still would have got what they wanted. David would have still been on the block, and then they would have been able to get him out. The disruptor power may have saved this season, guys. I mean, because
this episode in a lot of ways, other than there was a lot of like repetitiveness in the diary room tonight with some of these people, but
because they decided not to show stuff that actually happened this week, so.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, like, if Davon, I could have said, not just me. I think a lot of people could have said to Davon, okay, here's the thing about Cody and how he plays. If you just look at BB16 alone, and the Derek Alliance and those people who were in that bomb squad, whatever, and the people who were not in it, the way they treated them, like Donnie in particular.
Yes.
And if you they had this intensity towards Donnie and anger and angst just because he would won the veto 1 week and they couldn't get after him, and just like that anger and that intensity, that how dare you foil my perfect plan. It's ridiculous, it's juvenile, and it exposes Cody sort of for who he is.
And Nicole, both of them played on 16.
Yeah, she was part of it too. Yeah,
and both of them play that same way, the same way Derek plays, where once we see a threat, when a veto, that person has to go, because that person cannot, like you said, Dave, foil our perfect plan. And people think, you would think that like all these players though, like would understand Big Brother, and that I don't think they care, but like the audience doesn't want to watch a perfectly like laid out plan. Like, to me, like that's not exciting, and most people would agree with me. Jaemeel, why aren't they showing things that are happening in the house on the episode? Like we talked about in the spoilers last episode, but like there's stuff that's going on, like Danny trying to get everybody to like raise their hand at the veto meeting. They didn't even show it.
I want to quote this. So Danny's plan. So just to give some context to people of what was happening and what the timeline is, just before the POV ceremony, Danny woke up people in the middle of the night. So she woke up Memphis, she woke up Christmas, woke up Nicole, sorry, woke up Cody, right? And then she had this plan. And the plan was to interrupt the POV meeting, beg Devon not to use the POV, and convince everyone to raise their hands in support of evicting Tyler, whether they truly intend to or not, just to convince Devon to feel comfortable about leaving Kevin on the block, right? She even went to production to find out if she can actually do it as well. And then Grandpa Memphis said, "This is a stupid plan." And that kind of killed it right then and there. But literally, they were going to talk to everyone and to accept Kevin and Ian and say, "Hey, we plan to vote out Tyler. Please don't use the POV. Kevin is safe, right? There's no need to do that." right? But if it did happen,
Right.
and you're Devon, you're like, thou dost protest too much, right? And this seems to be like a plan, right? David's not going to raise his hand because no one trusts David to tell him this plan, right? When they told this plan to Tyler after it was Ixnay, Tyler's like, I would have raised my hand. And I'm like, you would have just outed the alliance right then and there.
Right.
Like, everyone who raised their hand is in the alliance, and everyone who isn't, who doesn't raise their hand is not in the alliance. So it would have been Devon, Kevin, and Devon, who wouldn't have known about it. And then Memphis is like, you're going to make Devon look stupid, and she's going to be even more angry and more willing to use the POV. So they kind of ixnayed that plan altogether.
And that wasn't shown. Now, we were watching, Jaemeel and I were kind of watching the episode together, Dave, and there was a moment there where, well, after Devon wins the veto and she goes into the HOH room to talk to Danny and like kind of having a frank conversation with each other, and Devon was kind of like, like, just be real with me and whatnot, and they're kind of going back and forth. But the point I'm trying to make is once Devon leaves the room, literally Christmas is sitting on the couches upstairs outside the HOH room. Devon leaves the room. Christmas basically sprints into the HOH room to find out what is, if Devon's going to use it. And now, if I'm Devon and I see that, could there be a more obvious, like telltale sign that there's a big alliance and you ain't in it, Devon?
Because no one came to talk to you.
I think you're right. I think that did she see it? Is there any indication that she saw that?
Well, I mean, it happened like while she's walking out of the room. Did she probably felt the wind move when Christmas ran by?
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, I think that I think I don't understand why Devon hasn't figured out what the hell's going on. She's supposed to be intuitive, but she seems to have a blind spot for a few of these people. And her play tonight, not like, was it smart? Yes, it is smart for her, but also she doesn't understand that it's smart for her. Like, the reasons it's good for her, she doesn't fully grasp. But this whole, like, the reasons she did it were sort of the wrong reasons. Like, I have power and I'm just going to use it. And she's right to. That's the right instinct. It turns out because she's not in this alliance, and
but she knows that. She said that to Danny, right?
Right, but at the same time, so good for her that she didn't cave to that pressure, because I'm sure there was a lot of pressure, even though there wasn't this elaborate plot that they all went through with their hands raised. There was a lot of other pressure she probably had to face.
I'm surprised there wasn't from Nicole to Devon any scene there, and no pressure there shown. I'm sure it probably happened in the house, because you don't stew the way Nicole was stewing if she didn't have some sort of a conversation that didn't go her way. Other than
they were trying to keep Nicole away from Devon, because the fact of the matter is, if you're telling Devon, hey, Kevin is safe, don't worry, Tyler's for sure to go home, and then you replace Kevin with Ian, and then say, well, I can't guarantee they ain't going to vote out Ian, then that means your guaranteed votes against Tyler weren't necessarily guaranteed in the first place, and Kevin would have went home, right? Or you were lying to me saying that Kevin was going to stay, right? So why is Nicole crying so much if Tyler's a for sure thing going home, unless he never was, and you were lying to me to get rid of Kevin?
But that means also Ian should be trying to stay away. They should be trying to keep Ian away from Nicole as well, because it's pretty obvious then that, she's not upset that Tyler's going home. Nicole, I mean, come on.
Well, that's why Ian was so pissed off, because it's like the for sure pawn, like the guaranteed pawn that's not going to stay. He's like, do you see how everyone's acting? I'm going home. Like, Tyler's not going anywhere. Like, who are you trying to convince?
No, and if Danny really did want Tyler to go home, put Christmas up. That would ensure Tyler goes home, and they're a duo. And you said, like, this whole thing last week was, Christmas was saying, well, you guys are a duo, so I had to put you two up. Well, it's obvious that Christmas and Tyler are a duo. And nobody's like that for whatever. The committee is like this stupid octopus that seems to just protect whoever it needs to protect to make sure the floaters go home, which right now are Kevin, David, and Devon. but now finally a floater won a competition, and chaos is ensuing, and I love it. What do you? I mean, I don't even know what.
That's what we need. That's what we need. These floaters, if somehow they're able to get Tyler out instead of Ian, which I know is unlikely, but we'll see. It would be great, because then you would have all these other players who would finally realize, hopefully, that they have to start having some more agency in this game. They can't just count on people to protect them and sort of this Cold War. You guys are you are in jury phase here, guys. It's okay to get a little more cutthroat and start declaring more solid alliances. But everyone sort of they all have different agendas. We got Cody, who wants to keep Enzo safe. I have Nicole, who wants to keep Ian safe. And there's other versions of that. But Christmas does not understand this. She's not that kind of player. Christmas is no, I have my 6.
Yeah.
And within my 6, my pair is me and and Tyler. She thinks it's her and Tyler, and then we're part of the 6, and then that's it.
That's it. That's because that's when she played with Paul. That's how it was. Right. They had a 4 or 5 person alliance, and they just picked everybody off, and that's how Christmas.
There was a pecking order, and they stuck to it, and very much the same. Like Paul in 19 played very much this almost brat game, because the Cody's playing wow, I'm not getting my way, so I'm going to get really intense at
friendship.
Whatever, and then sort of bully people a little bit. I feel like Cody is how is nobody? Is he? Do they even understand that he can be nominated, or that he's allowed to
what
be
about
considered?
Memphis? Is he on the show? What is going on with Memphis?
He's part of the committee, Jeff. He's part of the committee.
Yeah, he's never ever brought up as a replacement nominee option. That's just as an option. It's
he's the most hated person, but yet he's not an option.
Well, maybe Davon's the most hated person now.
How does Nicole not try to say to Danny, hey, maybe we should put Memphis up, maybe we should put Enzo up, maybe I thought Danny and Nicole were supposed to be tight. So this whole thing where she had to put Ian up, if I'm Nicole, I get why she was pissed off. Because she's supposed to be tight with Danny, and Danny is literally putting up the one person that is the shield for Nicole.
Well, Danny's picking Cody over Nicole.
Basically. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's picking not only Cody, but Cody, Enzo, Memphis over Nicole.
Right.
Those 3 guys are getting what they want to keep Tyler. And so Nicole
and Enzo, keep Enzo. Enzo was the other option, really, right? To put up.
Only in Christmas's mind, because he's not in the committee. And we have to appease Christmas, because if we don't, she's probably going to go Psychoville on us, and it's going to be, and Finkel's the mayor, so.
Right.
That's great. Oh my gosh, Finkel's the mayor. I love it.
Yeah, Finkel is Einhorn.
Your gun is digging into my hip. Oh.
Moving on.
Do you have any more of that gum, Jeff? That's a personal question.
So my whole thing right now is I'm loving the fact that everyone's little plans are blowing up. That's what Big Brother is great to watch sometimes, because that's what was so frustrating about that season you were talking about, Dave, with 19, is that pecking order literally stayed right to the end. Even when
Christmas was very effective at doing that.
She was, but it was also Paul. It was her and Paul just kept this tight group, and they never wavered off of it. And this season, I don't even understand what the alliance really is. What's the alliance? What I know.
Committee?
Yeah, but it's not really the alliance.
It is now.
No,
that's what they're selling us on the show.
I know,
but alliance is Cody, Tyler, Nicole, and Danny. And then they all have their little offshoots.
And Memphis.
Well, Memphis is via Cody and Danny, right? Not
I think Nicole. He's considered, but they said that it's 6, that there's 6 people in the committee. And it's this original alliance that Memphis started, because Julie Chen Moonves, every time someone gets voted out of the house, she sells us that this is the 6. She sells the person just evicted and the rest of America that, hey, there was a 6-person alliance that Memphis was part of. People tried to thought that they could trust Memphis. They couldn't. So he's considered part of this 6 in terms of the narrative of the show, in terms of the lines they're feeding to these people.
But he's never on the show.
But he's not on the show. He's not even considered as a nominee. He's like just a number for them, I think.
He's literally like just in the background, not doing anything ever. He comes in and like he even when he talks on the show, guys, I can't even hear him. Like he just like mumbles and then it's just on to the next thing. I'm like, what is this guy? Like this guy sucks. Like honestly,
the only moment they gave him tonight was when David was like fake crying about being like being like saved or whatever.
Right.
And he's just like, what's up with you? You should be happy. What the hell is this? Right? And you could just call David out straight out. He's like, what? He's like, what is this reaction?
Right, which I get, I understand, but Cody had more time with that reaction too, and he was much better on the show at narrating that for us.
Yes, that played much better.
Yeah,
Memphis was cringier, for sure. Even though David was faking?
Did you know that Tyler and Ian had a alliance that started last week?
Tyler and Ian,
yeah,
and they're on walk together.
They named the alliance too. You know what it was called?
No.
The insurance policy.
No, I don't think it paid out.
Yeah, they have to put a claim in.
All right, we're gonna do an investigation.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so all right, like, how do we think these votes are going to lie? Okay, so let's just go through the people who are going to vote. Okay, so just give me like who you think they're going to vote out. Okay, so either Ian or Tyler.
If they had their way,
so I'll hold up my hands here, and then this side is Ian, and this side is Tyler to go home. Okay, so Christmas,
she would vote out Ian.
Yep.
Okay, so Ian's one vote for Ian. Nicole Franzel,
Ian.
Tyler.
Okay.
No, yeah, you're right. She'll probably vote for Tyler. I changed my vote.
Okay, yeah. Tyler. Okay, Cody. Ian, right?
Ian.
He'll definitely vote out Ian.
Okay, Ian. Memphis.
Ian.
That's 3. David.
Tyler.
He's going to vote to evict Tyler. Okay. Kevin.
No, I think he'll vote to evict Ian. I disagree on that.
We'll see. Okay, so just for funsies. Okay, Kevin. He'll vote to evict Tyler.
I think he'll vote to evict Tyler. Yeah.
So that's
if he had his way.
3. Okay, Davon.
Tyler.
And then the last one is Enzo. He'll vote to evict Ian. So there's the 4-4 tie that everybody's been talking about. 4-4, right? And then Danny, once again, the world's worst HOH in history. She's going to have to decide who goes home. And I mean,
can she resist? Could she resist the chance to take out Tyler if she had to break that tie?
She shouldn't. She should blow the alliance up.
No, I know, but after everything that's happened now, will she?
Here's the reason why she won't. Because last time Danny played Big Brother, this is what she did. She blew up the big alliance, and then she went home a week or 2 later. If you remember in Big Brother 13, Jaemeel. Yep. That's what she did, and then she's been fearing doing something like that ever since. So that's really what's going on here. It really comes down to one person's vote, and that's probably.
So do you want me to tell you what's really?
Are we going to go spoilers?
It's not really spoilers technically because, like, it's like ongoing, so it isn't necessarily like we don't know for sure it's going to happen. Okay. It's kind of spoilerish. It's not on the show. But first, so Nicole, we know, does not want Ian gone. Why does she not want Ian gone? Well, I kind of mentioned it last episode where she was caught in a situation where she was part of a group that was making fun of Ian.
Correct.
And she was warned by production that no was not a thing to do.
You told me for this. Sorry, just stop you there. You told me this was the reason too that Ian couldn't go up or Danny wouldn't put up.
Correct. That's what Danny said.
Before I forget, I just wanted to point that out.
Correct. But she ended up putting up Ian, right? And she didn't want to, right? But she's like, well, you know what? I got to do what I got to do. Nicole, on the other hand, does not have that same feeling. She's like, no, Ian shouldn't have gone up. I can't have Ian gone, right? And she barely refers to it in terms of game. She's like, oh, I'm going to miss him or anything like that. So she's now left in a situation where it's going to be a 4-4 tie if she votes to keep Ian. And then she's going to put her supposed bestie, Danny, in a bad spot, which Danny does not want to be in. Danny does not want to have to break a tie. So Nicole has repeatedly asked other people to vote for Ian, right? No, sorry, not to vote for Ian. She's trying to convince David to vote to for Tyler so that she can vote for Ian without any worries of a tie.
So it's 5-3 vote instead of a 4-4, but she's not. She wants basically David to vote for her and her vote for David.
Franzel's trying to have her cake and eat it too because she wants Ian's jury vote.
Yes.
But she yeah.
Okay.
She's like, I could try to convince someone to vote the other way so I can vote for Ian. It's like, no, you can't. You don't do that.
Yeah. So whatever Davon and Kevin, whatever they have to do in the next 2 days to make sure that David votes to evict Tyler. They have to make that happen. They have to make sure David votes to evict Tyler.
No, I disagree.
Why?
I disagree. They need to have David go, David, you are going to vote to evict Ian.
Why?
Right?
Because don't you want the tie to happen? If you're in the minority alliance,
I want Nicole to think. Sorry, I want them to think that Nicole can vote for Ian without any worries of it impacting the actual vote.
Okay,
and then flip it at the last second. Go, David. No, you're voting for you're voting to keep Ian, right? And then they're like, "Oh, that'll be great."
That would be really smart. If they should, that's what Davon and Kevin should be cooking up. They should exactly what you just said. Convince everybody that David is going to vote to keep Tyler. So then, Nicole feels safe. She's going to vote to evict Tyler too, so she can get Ian's vote. All of a sudden, they switch it around. They make it a 4-4 tie. Now Danny has to pick. Now, if I'm Nicole, she should want to put Danny in that position, though, to make that 4-4 tie happen. She should be pissed off at Danny for putting up the one person that is the only other winner in the house. All of a sudden, Nicole becomes a way bigger target once Ian is gone. You know, Ian is the only thing that's kind of protecting Nicole as far as her having a chance at the end of the game. There's only two players, David and Ian. And when Ian's gone, the rest of those guys are going to want to get David out anyway. So when she's stuck with Enzo's and Cody's, she has almost zero chance to win the game.
I don't understand why you wouldn't want this chance to get Ian out, for even if you're in his alliance, because hasn't it kind of he served his purpose? Like, you have the numbers regardless of whether or not you have Tyler or not. So
it's
I don't really
competitions though. That's what they want. They want to be able to solidify the competitions. Plus, people like Enzo and Memphis want to keep the bros. They want, and Tyler's a bro and Ian is.
Why Franzel though? Why does she want it? Why would she rather have Tyler in this game who's in her alliance, granted, than Ian, who's a very good ally and shield for her?
She doesn't. She wants Ian.
But she believes in loyalty to the alliance more.
Yeah, because she knows if she goes against the alliance and everybody knows that she went against the alliance, then she's going to be the next Davon. She'll be the pariah, So, and that's how.
Why does she have so little agency in her alliance? Why can't she get more of a way?
Because Cody's controlling the game, guy. That's really what it comes down to. It seems like is Cody gets whatever he wants, and Christmas is psycho with this 6% committee alliance, never waver, never break it. So, and like Danny said it tonight, she's like Chris is like, no, it's the 6, and no, there's only two options. It's Enzo and Ian, and then what happens once you're in the final 6? Huh? Like what? I think
Christmas thinks it will be her and Tyler versus probably Cody and Nicole versus who the other two are, Danny and
Memphis.
So,
no, but like that's the thing with Christmas that is that to me makes her a terrible Big Brother player, is that she doesn't think ahead. Like, she just thinks, this is it, this is that, we win the competitions, we'll get to 6, and Cody kind of thinks that way too. Like a
little bit, but Christmas doesn't realize that Cody's got to cut her throat when they get to 6.
He might do it before.
He might do it before. But,
he
yeah.
might. He might not though, because she's very easily manipulated into thinking the loyalty and alliance will work. And so I don't know. Like, I just don't get how Memphis is just riding. He's like literally floating out throughout this whole game.
He's in the committee. He's on a subcommittee.
This committee's got to go. I mean, this committee literally needs to blow up.
This committee must be disbanded.
So Mary has an interesting message, and yes, that is true. But weren't Day and Kevin going to vote for Tyler to stay? Kevin has been trying to.
Is this a spoiler?
No, it isn't. Not really.
Okay.
Because like even before Kevin, there were talks about this as well, trying to work with Tyler and making a deal with him. And we don't really know if like that deal is cemented, right? If that's going to actually happen, especially now with Ian on the block.
Well, I hope they're at least considering these kinds of things, right? Like at least like if we keep this person, this happens. If we keep this person, this happens. You should always be thinking about that before every vote. But
they should be talking to both Ian and Tyler.
But you hope you get to the right answers, and you do that by having conversations with everybody, really, but having the instincts to figure out who is really playing you and then sorting that all out. It's tough, because there's a lot of good liars in this house, especially if you're Christmas, who's watching every little conversation. She'll run into that room and find out what was just happened here. Dave Onga,
she'll scurry like a rat.
She'll scurry like the rat she is.
Mm-hmm.
The Christmas rat.
The old Yule log.
The old gulag.
Yule log, yeah.
The Yule log gulag. Okay, so hey Jeff, let's go to spoilers if we can, because I think we've talked about everything we can in this episode. Oh, the only thing we haven't touched upon, maybe is this last thing, is just we only got a little bit of this Ian reaction, because Ian was not in this episode a whole bunch until he was nominated, where he was like, oh, okay. And he kicked something in the diary room.
He was pissed off. It was great.
Yeah,
we want people angry. Like we want people to care about this season.
Yeah, right. So I guess it was nice to see some passion.
Yeah,
it was, and it was nice to see, like Mary's saying, it was nice to see Dave stand up to the bullying. I agree. It was the one moment I was proud of in the episode where, I loved when Dave was like, "Why? Why would that benefit me to not save Kevin?" I
got receipts, Mary. Got receipts.
And that was the first time in this season where I was actually genuinely proud of a player in the game.
Yeah, I'm glad I have her. But I hope she has the sort of endurance to deal with this, because it's not gonna be easy to be in this house with that much hostility coming at you. It's gonna be tough.
Is next HOH slip and slide?
If it is, it won't be Davon winning.
It might. I think it's going to be a mental comp, personally.
So if Ian stays, yeah.
I think
if it is a slip and slide, I would probably put money on Cody to win.
Unless it might be the slip and slide. You might be right, Jaemeel, because next week might be the double. So they might do the slip and slide.
The mental first, and then slip and slide after.
Yeah. No, slip and slide for this week, and then next week do the double with the mental.
Wait, they didn't mention it, so this week is not a double then.
No, I don't think. No,
it has to be the week after.
It has to be the next week, right? So yeah, we're gonna go one more week, and
their time to break up this alliances now, because that's gonna be tough. Yeah, the one after a double eviction is gonna be a slip and slide. It probably is gonna be.
I hope we get a double.
Fill up the bottle, fill up the water.
We need a double soon.
So how come, I know I'm rehashing this alliance and everything, but it seems like Enzo has a lot more sway and power in this house, and he's not in the committee. I feel like the committee is just this illusion to make sure Christmas does what they want. Do you guys agree with that?
I think
they need to put a name to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that they're really dealing with, that Christmas still believes in this thing. And so they feel sort of pressured by it or driven by it. And plus the producers have already leaned into it. So all those things together make it sort of this real thing. It's more tangible.
But Enzo, like Danielle said it tonight, Enzo was never hitting the block. She feels way more comfortable with Enzo than she does Ian. She said it. So she's in alliance with Enzo.
Right.
You know,
she's not. She doesn't think like Christmas though.
no, I know that. But so that's what I mean. The committee is just like this bullshit alliance to make sure when Christmas will win something, she's gonna win something at some point, and I think they know this. And when she does, they need to make sure that. But the problem is, she's gonna go after Enzo. He's not in the committee, right? That's what she's.
But I thought she was loyal to Enzo. That's why it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't.
No, she's loyal to him to a point, and
So
the
final
point
seven?
is when the committee is threatened. So if the options are not Day, not Kevin, and not David, it's going to be Enzo, and it's going to be Ian because they're not in her alliance, quote unquote alliance.
Well, they don't have to do what Christmas wants. They can.
Well, if she's HOH, yeah, you know.
And she's been HOH.
Yeah, she was gifted it.
But she can win. She can win in HOH.
All right.
For sure.
Let's get to the spoiler talk because I want to know how this vote is looking. So
Bring out the fire. No, we're going
what was that, a penguin? What?
Oh, is that Tyler blowing up down the
He's blowing. That's Tyler blowing smoke.
blowing the cans down?
I want to give a couple of receipts before we go any further.
Okay.
In terms of the bullying for Day, we have, Christmas and Nicole were talking about the 4 people that were nominated. And Nicole said she needs to talk to Danny. Nicole is mad because Day knew how upset Nicole would be if she used it, and Day did it anyways. Nicole said, I have to win the next HOH and then do what I got to do, i.e. get rid of Day, right? Cody says if Day does not use the veto, he's putting her up and getting her voted off. Sorry, if she does use the veto. Danny said that she told Day that Kevin will go up next week. So even if she took down Kevin, they were going to put him up next week anyways. What's it called? Cody says if Day does use the veto, he'll put her up next week. Yeah, I said that. Nicole is considering voting to keep Ian, therefore forcing Danny to break the tie. Nicole says, I have to play my own game. And then Danny's like, but you screw me over for one jury vote. Nicole says it's not for a jury vote. It's for my moral compass. Womp, womp, like we believe that at all. Okay. So one thing that was not mentioned on this episode, Tyler once again stated that if he goes to jury, he's quitting. In addition to that, now Ian is saying if he goes to jury, he's quitting. So both of them are saying that they're quitting. In addition, Nicole learned that Ian isn't voting based on his personal feelings. He has an algorithm, a calculation that will determine who his vote goes to.
Interesting.
Yes.
It's in the final 2? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
No, like for the jury, whoever is the final 2,
Yeah, to win.
Who he'll vote for.
Yeah, who he'll vote for, an algorithm. So he's taking personal feelings totally out of the equation.
So what does Nicole care about trying to win his jury vote?
Because it has nothing to do with the jury vote. It's about how it looks because of how she was involved with how he was treated. She has to know that she's losing sponsorships left and right. Has to.
Yeah, I mean, but she doesn't know for sure unless production told her.
I'm pretty sure production told her. That's why she's determined to voting to keep Ian, even though he might go, because she wants to be on that side of the votes.
She wants to be to keep. Yeah, she wants to.
Her opportunity here is if she wants to save her image, is to try to save Ian.
Yes,
she thinks she can save Ian. That the only thing she can do is vote to keep him.
All she has to do is convince Cody.
No, she doesn't even have to do that. All she would have to do is convince 2 people. She convince 2 people really. Make sure Davon gets Kevin and David to vote with them. She votes with them, and then she has to convince Danny. So she really only needs to convince one person, Danny. She can convince Danny, but if she can convince Danny to make Tyler walk out the door, and there's a lot of evidence to make her do that. Like Tyler was coming after Danny. Like there's enough reason if Nicole, you're a savvy enough player, she's a smart player. Like I know we crap on Nicole a lot, but she's what she wants to be a good player at Big Brother. But for whatever, this season is her worst season I've seen her play because she's not really playing. You know,
if she convinces Danny to vote Tyler out, both of their games are done. Honestly,
why can't they switch and go with the Davon, Kevin, and David side of the house? That's 5. That'd be 5 on 5.
Technically, it would be 6 on 5 because Ian should be a part of that group if they're really thinking about it.
That's right. So they would have the numbers. So
but they feel that the commission will
flip a house.
They feel that the commission will point all their anger towards them and forget about the floaters, and then they will get voted out while the other people will skate on by.
Right, but this is the whole point with Nicole, and this is what she's already a winner. Everybody has been saying there's no way Nicole can win if she gets to the end. Now, I disagree with that. I think she could win if she flipped the house in a big, sexy move, which this would be her opportunity to do it. And if she did that, I think I know you disagree with me, Jaemeel, but
no, you said Nicole and sexy in the same sentence and made me laugh. Sorry. Oh my gosh, so hot!
Yeah, look at me, my unitard.
Yeah, I just want to get this thing off. I spent $5,000 to wear this. You know,
sloppies.
But I do think this is just. I think she could win the game if she this move benefits her. It really does. It makes no sense for her to stay with the Cody, Enzo, Memphis, Tyler group. None. 0, other than that they're good at competitions and they'd be coming after her. If she went and went to the other side of the house and started making an alliance that really worked, as far as like she would have a lot of sway in that alliance if she was with the Davon group. Now, I don't know if
believe that side can win.
Well, that's the thing, is it's all about the competitions, and she's just gonna, but she's not. It's like this is like very much like the moment in Survivor Blood versus Water when
Bloodwater.
The girl that voted out her mom, what was her name?
What's the name?
Laura's mom, daughter. Anyway, when she decided to vote to go to Rocks, she knew she was like the 5th person in her alliance, and that's to me it's the exact same thing here with Nicole. She has 0 chance to win if she sticks with the Cody, Memphis, Tyler group. They're going to pick her off at 4, 5, or 6.
Sierra,
that was her name. And she realized that, and she went to Rocks, and it didn't go her way, but it could have. But this Big Brother's a different game. All you have to do is sway people's opinions, and she's already got the 3 votes if she wants to get rid of Ian, most likely to get rid of Tyler. She joins that. She just has to convince Danny, and if she can do that, she can manipulate Danny to do what she wants here. It would really benefit her, I think. That's what that's my opinion. What do you think, Dave?
I think Amanda's saying she's like this episode. She said yes to good gameplay.
Yes,
from Davon. I'm guessing she's met.
Yes.
Well, I think it. Probably
general.
Just what we were saying earlier that. Like at least the game is a little shaken up here, and the committee for once is not getting exactly what they want. So at least the game and the show and the narrative is a little more interesting. Although I know they in Christmas's mind, like the committee are like the Yankees, and the Yankees are just or like they're like this perfect team. Was it the Dolphins who went like the perfect NFL season or whatever?
Yeah.
They're like that. Like, only the 1 week we didn't win HOH, and it was Enzo, who was like very adjacent to our alliance anyway.
And he stepped in line when we told him what to do, and he did our dirty work.
Exactly. So they think that they are going to be like going to the Hall of Fame because they're all-stars, Jeff. They are the greatest players ever. So,
Lord.
And that's why they get so mad when somebody's going to tell them that they're not, or that or something might disrupt that perfect fairy tale. So, yeah.
How dare you make us work?
I agree. I think it's like the people that are all good at the competitions banded up, right? But Nicole Francel's not good at all the competition. She's good at only like half of them. Same thing with Danny. They're good at those endurance ones. That's why they were the last. They were one of the last 2 on the wall.
Some of the mental ones.
Some of the mental ones. But why stick with the Christmas Cody, Memphis. Why stick with them when they're going to cut you, Nicole? They're going to cut you, Danny. They're not going to keep you.
Those literally, if they knew how Enzo felt about them, they should flip on. You're absolutely right.
Like in terms of the committee, like Christmas and Danny have both been the last two HOHs, both committee members. Hasn't gone great for them in both cases in terms of their reputation within the alliance. And I think that maybe those two in particular are at the bottom of that 6.
Yeah, I don't think those two will see the final 4 at all.
Like, all right, if you're Cody, who's coming to the final 3 with you? Because the final 3 is really the finale.
Well,
right?
I thought it was going to be
Enzo's definitely there, right? So
and Memphis,
and probably
no. You get rid of Memphis at 3. There's no way.
No, because the final 3 is the final 3 plays the final HOH, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, is it only? The final 3 does, right? So the final HOH. If you're Cody, who are you bringing with you to the final HOH? Enzo's definitely going to be there, and he might bring one of Christmas or Memphis. That's who I think he would bring.
Honestly, I would take Christmas instead of Memphis. Because
that's what I see.
I wouldn't take Memphis near that ending point at all, because Memphis would try to kind of F him over. He's not trustworthy.
Memphis.
Whereas, if Christmas somehow wins the final HOH, she's taking you. She's kissing the ring. She's taking you there.
Right.
If it's not Tyler, it's you. She's not going to take Enzo
because
she does not have ties to.
Right. So who's he not bringing? Cody and Nicole and Danny. Are they going to come to the final 3 with Cody? No,
they're not.
I don't
not
think
sniffing the final 4.
Cody might. Yeah, right. So Cody might want to bring Nicole just because she's a winner, and if he sits beside the winner, he probably wins. Especially if she doesn't make any sexy moves, which you have to in Big Brother. You got to make at least a couple sexy moves to impress the jury to get their vote, I think.
Yeah, it depends who you're against.
Yeah, like the only time Nicole won was because was with Paul, and that's because everybody hated Paul. Even in his first season, they didn't like him. They thought he was disingenuous. He made the same mistake 2 times in a row.
Basically.
Do we currently, if Day's alliance actually gains some traction and win stuff, Day could technically win this game?
I would love it. I would love to see it. I'd love to see like Kevin,
David,
or them just at the end.
That is crazy to think about that. Oh my gosh. Don't see. Why did I even think that?
Well, Devon made a good point tonight when she went into the room with Kevin and said, "Hey, I use this veto on you. You know they're coming after you and me next week, no matter what." Right? That's what she said. But
she knew it.
Right. But if she doesn't use the veto, what are the noms next week? Kevin and David.
Her and David. Well, no. Well, yeah.
And maybe her though, if most likely David pulled himself off the block.
Exactly. So she might as well save that group of 3 for that week and make them eat each other at least one.
So is she begrudgingly accepting that she may have to work with David now?
I think so. Yes, I think who else is she going to work with? Nobody's working with them. Especially Devon. Devon can't. She's trying to cozy up to Danny. It's literally, she said it tonight. Devon did, where she's like, she's just giving me face. She's just like, tell me what I want to hear. I know that. I'm not dumb. If you have to figure this out after you're in there. This is your 3rd time in the house, Devon. I'm glad you finally realize when people are just telling you what you want to hear. Yeah.
It only took her 6 weeks for these people to understand when they're lying.
Only 6 weeks. Spoiler alert. We found out who took David off the block. It was David. He told David.
No, actually, I have breaking news of who took David off the block. It was Keisha.
That's unexpected.
Do you think Keisha used the power from?
Yeah, wouldn't that be hilarious if he had said something like that?
Yeah. Hey, do you think Keisha maybe got the power because she was over first?
Maybe Janelle did it from outside the house. Like maybe she won something like from her house on Zoom.
Maybe America saved me. He would have been better off to say maybe I was saved by America.
Yeah, that would have been better. But they know they played the competition.
Wait, why was he afraid to just say he won the disruptor power and he took himself off the block? Nobody would begrudge him for it.
He wanted to cause chaos
Yes.
Well, he did for himself.
He did, but I also think he doesn't care. Like, I think he's like I think he just doesn't like any of these people, and he's just trying to mess with them, and it's not working. But I think he just wants to mess with
Do you
them.
think he's just going for airtime?
Maybe
He's on the show more than Memphis, so you can't blame the guy.
he had a conversation with I believe Memphis. Who is it? Was it Memphis and no? I think it was Day and Enzo. And it's like, Day, you played before twice, so this is your third time. And then he goes, Enzo, you were in a alliance that started on day 2, and you guys named it. And he's like, yeah. And it's like, it was the Renegades. And he's like, yeah. And so just said, yeah. And it was like, wait, no, it wasn't the Renegades. The Renegades is Memphis's group. It was the Brigade, right? And they're like, is Enzo just fucking with him for like no reason? But
I think so, but
he's like, I'm learning.
There's a lot of conversations that go on in that house. I feel for David in a lot of ways, guys, because a lot of it is just nostalgia talk about old seasons, right? And it seems like David is a casual that really shouldn't be on this season. He doesn't know the history of Big Brother. They're all talking about going to Matt Hoffman's house for Halloween and all these different things that David really is not. He's not in that loop. He's not with the cool kids. This is the cool kid season, if there ever was a cool kid season, and it really is. I feel sorry for him because he's in an impossible situation.
Yeah,
you know?
they kind of gave him a raw deal. He shouldn't have been in this season at all.
No.
That being said, bro, you could have done some research. Ovi would have set you up. He said he gave you reading and you didn't read up on it. You could have done some wikis. You could have done like, Rob Cesternino has enough, introduction to Big Brother or like you could have like read up beforehand. Like
that's true.
People like all of us here, Dave and I especially, we're going to be applying for Canada, right? Even though we've seen the seasons, we're still going to do a little bit of research. We're going to do a little touch up, right? Shiny edges.
Especially season 2, I think I'd have to go back and a big BB can too.
I'm just going to heavily rely on a BB can 1. I'm like, oh, it's like The Shield, Topaz, Peter Brown.
It's still maybe the best season of the show. I think this one.
No, I you know what? I think we've been very blessed in terms of we've had up and down seasons, right? They got to change that house though. I
don't like.
It's a little too big too. That house is almost like
there's too many rooms. Too many rooms.
Yeah, too many rooms. Too many places to hide. Right.
It's
a little bit too big. It's a little bit too big.
A little too big. Yeah. And the American house is almost a little too small in some ways.
Well, that's the whole point. Like people get claustrophobic.
Should be small. Like that's,
you have to live with these people. And I find in the bigger house, you can like sort of go into separate rooms. And
they just need to clean the house a little bit more because you hear about like ants and like all these things in the U.S. house that I don't hear about in the Canadian house because they keep it pretty tight.
The Canadian house the Canadian one's a warehouse. Like
so is the American one. The American house is on a studio lot.
Yeah, studio lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you gone to a taping?
No, I was going to.
We're going to. Yeah, me and Dave both had the ticket.
Oh, tickets for this season?
Yeah,
the last season.
We were going to go in April.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I only went for BB Can 1. Yeah, and I saw Dan Giesling. I met Dan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was there.
Have you guys applied?
I went to 2 or 3. I think. Sorry, 2 or 3. Yeah.
Have you guys applied yet for?
No, I haven't done. I got to do a video. What kind of video should I do?
Just show this video. It's like
here's my video.
I know game talk.
Yeah,
Mary vouches for me.
My thing is Star Trek, and I'll come up with any Star Trek podcaster that will be
just do like all the puns, like that is not a logical move and stuff like that, and like there's a lot of things you could.
I'm a little bit. If I wrote like a script for myself, like I'm a little bit logical like a Klingon. Or no, logical like a Vulcan, but like angry like a Klingon, but I have honor. I can see it now. I might be able to sell them on me. So
I'll be heavily relying on my my work experience as a trainer, as well as a strategist. Right, I'm not gonna really declare that I'm a podcaster because there's too many podcasters on Big Brother nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a presenter. I can do. I have a few things. If I brainstorm like the things I want to sell about
I play
myself,
street hockey and curling, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, I'm a curler. Who? That's weird. Put me on the show. You know.
that's interesting, right? It's like I wear hockey vests, not hockey vests, hockey jerseys, and like Star Trek.
You should be like,
Yeah.
I'm a cowboy like Kirk. I'm a philosopher like Picard. I'm a general like Cisco, and I'm a mother hen like Jane.
I'm a mother hen like Janeway. Yeah.
I
That's
thought you were
how.
gonna say I abort children like Janeway, right up the airlock.
And
And I'm a pioneer like Archer.
I'm a pioneer. Like I'm gonna bring them all into my alliance, and then I'm gonna pick them off one by one, like Romulans and Klingons.
Yeah, out the airlock they'll be going.
Photon torpedo launch, pew, stuff like that.
Where are they gonna find your Big Brother key?
in like a Star Trek uniform or something. I don't know. Like with
oh my gosh! Instead of my tricorder, there's a thing, or my
it's in
medical
the tri. It's
tricorder.
in the tricorder.
It's in the
That's the-
tricorder. Look at it.
Get
left the
full
flap
uniform.
open.
Get the full uniform, and then walk into the house with the uniform on.
I could never live down that.
Do that.
I could.
Do
I
that,
couldn't do
please. Do that.
Not that
please.
there's anything wrong with. I'm not much of a cosplayer, really. Like I like cosplay, but like it's.
Would
not-
you,
Dave,
would you
you're
ever
the
dress up like a
uniform
Klingon?
Hmm?
Would you ever dress up like a Klingon?
Go in as a Klingon. Go in as in character as
in
a
makeup and like full deal?
Oh,
Yeah.
Because I know people that could set you up with that.
Going as a Discovery Klingon.
Hey,
or as a-
Josh also
Discovery
knows,
Klingon.
Josh knows a person from Discovery Makeup.
yeah, that's right.
well-
We got a connection there.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, that's it. You're gonna wear that into the house.
Yeah, where the
Maybe.
dude? You should pitch
I-
that. You should
okay, I
pitch it
couldn't
to
wear
video.
that out like to a convention, let alone on TV. Like I don't think I could. I would have.
I
like,
think
that
you could do that. I think you could do that, dude.
Well, I think you have to go on Big Brother. You have to throw any kind of sense of pride away. You have to be ready to kind of humiliate yourself in any way. So
What I mean, or just wear Vulcan ears, or wear like just be like
do
ridiculous.
something that will stand out. If I wear the Vulcan ears in the video, that will stand out.
Yeah,
just for
something
part of
like
it.
that. I don't know. I think production likes quirkiness. That's why Christmas is on the show, guys. It's for the puns and the sound effects. That's what they
And
love that
it's CBS
stuff.
All Access, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
on Star
well,
Trek.
that's for
Jingle
US.
bells.
That's US. What is on Global? You can wear masks, and it's like Mask Singer. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so I
Does-
haven't thought about
could you not wear like Star Trek stuff on Global? You think there would be a copyright on that? Or like, I don't know.
You could probably wear the ears, but not probably the
The full Klingon makeup.
no,
You'd probably
not
be able
the
to do
uniform.
things like this and whatever.
I don't
but
think those are copyrighted. I don't.
No, but
Oh.
if you said like "live long and prosper," that might be an issue, or I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know what they would be.
think so.
okay with.
Prosper and long live.
It's an audition video, so you don't have to worry
That's
too
the
much
thing.
about any of that.
Yeah.
so.
You can't copyright Christmas. Christmas is like
Y-
public
Your
domain.
audition video is not going like public, so
Yes, it is.
or it could, right?
It
could.
could. It could. It could. I auditioned before, and my audition was at a convention. I was at New York, and I had to submit my my thing in. It was terrible. It was god awful. I wouldn't have picked me.
Because they own it once you give it to them, right?
Yes, I don't even know if I have a copy of that video at all. But I felt very shameful.
What's have you? I'm sure you've all seen audition videos over the years. What's your favorite one that you've seen?
Oh gosh.
I'll tell you the one that's-
Roy.
Jason Roy
Yeah, I like Jason Roy's.
from Survivor.
No, from
Oh,
Big
no.
Brother. You know, from
Try one OTT.
yeah.
Oh, that guy, Jason. Okay, yeah, right.
He has a great personality too. So in any video it comes across.
Boston guy, gay guy, right?
Is he from Boston? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always liked him.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, I like him too. And then my favorite, the one that stands out to me is Sean from Survivor Borneo, like Survivor 1. You know, he's in like the shower and he's like, all this stuff. Like,
Was that the coconut dude?
is that the coconut dude?
No, he was
Who-
the doctor that
The doctor.
did-
Oh, the alphabet doctor.
Yeah, the alphabet soup doctor was shaving his chest on the world that.
Okay.
Yeah, his audition video was hilarious. So There's a couple that like stand out, and like Colleen from that season. I remember like she auditioned just at a mall or whatever with her friends, and she just walked up and went, "Hey, I'm Colleen. I'm like the coolest, hippest chick ever." And they're like, "Great, put you on the show."
Yeah. And then she starred in The Animal with Rob Schneider and then disappeared.
Yeah, she didn't rebound off that Rob Schneider role she got.
You know what? Hey, you get on Survivor, on one of the most like watched Survivors, and then you do a feature film where you're like the co-star, right? And you're able to walk away kind of unscathed, like celebrity-wise. I think she came out pretty well.
Yeah, she walked off into the sunset without her reputation well intact, and
Yeah.
yeah, she did pretty good as far as reality success stories go.
Yeah, I will say so too.
So she had that whole scene where the bugs were living in her wounds and all that stuff.
Yes.
It was rough out there on the beach in the first seasons of Survivor. But anyway, so guys, tomorrow, who will go?
You mean Thursday?
No, Thursday. I keep thinking it's Wednesday.
I know.
This whole thing is throwing me off. Thursday. Who goes Thursday?
I have to believe Ian's going. As much as I don't want it to happen, I think Ian's going.
Unanimous vote?
No.
I think even if it's like 3 to 5.
I think it's be 5-3. Yep.
Yeah.
5-3 Ian goes. Okay.
Because I think Nicole's the one person that could make it 4-4, and she's gonna have to vote.
She's gonna back down.
She's gonna back down, and she's going. That's what I think is gonna happen. And I just because she doesn't want to put the heat on her, because the one thing we know about Nicole, she doesn't like people coming after her. When she has people coming after her, it's, oh my god, I don't want this, put me on the block, and it's just constant with the DR of how nervous she is, and if you're gonna get Nicole, blindside her on a double. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
who do you think is going home next week? Not this week, next week.
Depends on the HOH, but
I want you to hit me with the scenario.
Next week, I think Davon will go home, unfortunately.
I say Davon will be HOH next week. She will nominate. She's gonna nominate Christmas and Memphis.
Who's going home?
She's not going to put up Memphis.
Christmas and Enzo?
She's going to put up Cody, and she's probably going to put up Nicole.
She won't put up Nicole, will she?
She might.
If she's smart, she will. I
think she'll put up Cody for sure. I think she knows.
Who's going home in your scenario, Dave?
Between Cody and Nicole, if that was like final noms under a Davon HOH, I think that Nicole goes first. I think Cody has the sway to stay.
I'm thinking that Memphis is going to go home. I think that what's going to end up happening is she's going to put up Christmas and probably Christmas and Danny. And who cares who gets the veto? Let's say it's Christmas and takes herself out. She puts up Tyler. All right. Then what will end up happening is Christmas will use her power and take Tyler down. And then Memphis will go up. And then Memphis will go home.
Jeff, your prediction?
I think Enzo's going to win HOH.
Meow, meow.
Yeah, meow, meow. And I think he's going to put up David and Devon. And then I don't think either of them will win the POV. It won't get used, and then Devon will go home. That's my prediction.
I like my outcome the best.
I don't like my outcome.
No, my outcome was the best.
What do you mean?
Cody and Nicole on the block, that would be wonderful to watch.
Yeah. Why is that not the best outcome?
Because I think Christmas will take Cody down.
Nah, Christmas, well, maybe. But, yeah.
But then technically she can put up Christmas because it's not a veto.
Mary's saying Kevin will win the HOH. Now, if Kevin,
that'd be cool.
If this is the time, if Kevin had won HOH before, he would have wasted it because he wouldn't have understood his position at that time. He would have tried to do something for this alliance, kind of like what Enzo did, right? And she wants Kevin to put up Memphis and Cody. Well, that'd be great.
Cody. he's gonna put up Enzo and Danny
Yeah, he
because
probably
he's
would.
like, "You're dead to me if you put me up."
They both put him up.
He,
That's
he,
true.
he said that. He said that to Enzo, right? And Enzo just laughed.
That'd be great if Kevin got even. Yeah, even if he put up, I would be okay if they put up Memphis and Danny, and then they're like, well, Enzo has to go first because he's not in the committee. Then whatever, that would be a good outcome.
I think you gotta if you're in this 3-person lines, every shot you take has to hit, and if you're wasting bullets on like goons like Memphis or Danny, I think you're getting yourself in a load of trouble because a physical comp will come, and Tyler and Cody will just run rum shot over you, ram shot.
Is it rum shot or rap shot?
Ram shot. Run right over you.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up for tonight.
Yeah.
We're gonna be back on Thursday. It is Tuesday. So we're gonna be back on Thursday for the live eviction where we suspect Ian might go home, but who knows? There's 2 days for them to scheme and plot and who knows what. And Mary just wants us to know she would put up Cody and Tyler.
Because you're a beast, Mary. That's why you're a beast, right? That's why you're playing Big Brother for real. Not like these cats, these meow meow cats, right? You're playing for keeps, meow meow.
Not for the meow meow boys. And yeah, that's it. And like at least, hey, like we said, I think the game was a little more exciting this tonight, even though I feel bad for what Davon went through in particular. So
yeah,
that's my final thoughts.
Let's hold these memories because
Okay.
this might be it.
Yeah. You guys want to pitch anything coming up this week?
Take us away.
Take us away. I'm doing the pitch for the rest of the week.
Yeah, you know the pitch.
Okay, folks, please stay with us. We have on Wednesday, we have on our sister channel, Live Long and Podcast, we have Star Trek, the original series. We have City on the
No,
Edge.
it's Miri this week.
It's Miri.
Sorry?
Yeah.
The episode called Miri, M-I-R-I.
Miri. Sorry,
Yeah.
Miri. Stand corrected. So original series, check us out tomorrow for Miri. And then on Thursday, we have Star Trek Lower Decks. That's going to be a little bit late because we have Big Brother earlier on. And then on Friday, we have Star Trek Radio. Friday night, we have Star Trek Radio Theater. And you see our wonderful cast there. I'm not going to run through the cast. That's your gig.
No, yeah, but you can see it on screen there if you're watching along. But it's going to be a great one. We're doing City on the Edge of Forever, which is a great episode of Star Trek, and we have our fun cast over on the Radio Theater team to bring that to you. So make sure to tune in live and listen to that in real time. It's a lot of fun, and mostly it's just about trying to make each other laugh.
Exactly.
We do have
Stay
a new cast.
Mott.
Yeah, we do have a new cast member, Mott.
Tom Mott Tyrell. You can see there if you're looking here on screen in the top right-hand corner. Joining us for the first time.
I don't even know if he's going to do a voice. His normal voice is a character to begin with. So please,
he's already considering voices. I think he pitched Canadian Southerner to me. I was like, I don't even know what that is, but whatever you like.
That's from Windsor.
That's from Windsor, Southern Canada.
Niagara Falls. Jerry. He's going to do a Jerry accent.
All right. So now, what's happening on the Super Mater podcast? Episodes on Thursday, we have the eviction episode of Big Brother, so please check that out at 9:00. Don't miss it. It's going to be grand. And then also Sunday, we're going to see who the HOH is and who the nominations are, so please check us out for our Big Brother recap on Sunday. And then next week we're back to our regular schedule. On Wednesday we have the veto, and Thursday we have the eviction. In addition, we have another sister channel, which is Trivial Debates. And then at the end of the month, we have 3-way tag team matchup. You don't want to miss it at all. So please check that out. So Trivial Debates, Super Mater podcast, and Live Long and Podcast. You want to check out all three. Don't you dare miss it.
Yes. Thank you, Jaemeel. That was great. And I think we can call it a night.
Okay,
All right.
well, that's been our Big Brother 22 September 15th Veto reaction recap here, guys. And remember to join us on Thursday for more Big Brother content. See you guys later, and keep expecting the unexpected.